Hey guys, it's Ash, and Clash Royale just recently announced new balance changes, so we're gonna go over those changes and talk about how they're gonna change the game, and also go over new decks around these changes. You guys can view the new decks that I'm playing with right now throughout this whole video, so you guys can get an idea of what type of decks that are gonna be great after the balance changes. So the first change is the Executioner. His damage decreased by 6%, range to 4.5 from 5, and his axe hit radius reduced by 10%. Their explanation for this was the Executioner's power level is clearly too high for a troop that does it all. However, this is partly due to a few bugs that we're going to be fixing in the next update, so we're taking that into account with these changes. Reducing his damage, range, and the amount of stuff his axe can hit at once should rein him in. In my opinion, it was inevitable that the Executioner would see balance changes since it was just too good, and it has a lot of sketchy attributes such as how it stuns troops, something it wasn't intentionally made to do. This is actually a very big change to the Executioner, which will ultimately balance this troop. It will still be a great troop, but no longer will it be a meta-defining troop. Combinations like Tornado with Executioner will still be a great combo. I like this change since the Executioner was practically everywhere in the meta. It overpowered beatdown decks, which in turn gave way to hyper defensive and Siege decks. Decks such as Minor Cycle and Rocket and Expo Siege decks became really popular in higher ladder play. And those are not fun decks to play against, and they also slow down the meta. So this nerf to the Executioner should diversify the meta and a better balance to the game. Next, Poison's duration to 8 seconds from 10 seconds, which means that its damage per second increases by 24%. So, their explanation was after this change, Poison will be more reliable at getting its damage down. It'll deal more damage with each tick, but roughly the same damage over the duration. Skeletons will pop in 1 tick instead of 2, making it much better against Skeleton Army and Graveyard, and a viable alternative to Fireball again. This is, in my opinion, a very big change. The main reason I rarely used Poison after its slowdown effect was removed was because it took too long to kill certain threats, such as skeletons. But now since Poison will do 24% more damage per second, it can kill skeletons in 1 tick, meaning Poison will completely counter Graveyard, which also means that Poison will completely stop Graveyard, even if your opponent uses Freeze Spell with it. This also probably means that Poison will now overtake Fireball again. Poison does more damage overall than Fireball, has a much bigger radius, and since it lasts for 8 seconds, it'll be great on offense. And the biggest benefit of carrying Poison over Fireball is its ability to one-shot skeletons, shut down Graveyard, help against defensive buildings like Tombstone, as Poison can easily take down the Tombstone and one-shot the skeletons inside. I feel like it's gonna be a really good card now, and we can expect to see similar decks to the old Hog Trifecta decks, Giant Poison, and even minor Poison control decks. Next, Witch's damage increased by 6%, and the explanation was her use rate is really low in the later arenas and high win challenges, but it's quite good elsewhere. We're looking to give her a small boost without overpowering her in the early game. This change will allow her to one-shot equally leveled skeletons. This change will basically allow the Witch to one-shot skeletons, making her an excellent counter for Graveyard, but it's still not enough to make her into a popular option for high-tier players. She still suffers heavily against Bowler, Executioner, Valkyrie, Princess, and now Poison will make her even less appealing. Not only does Poison hurt her a lot, now it will instantly kill all her skeletons in 1 tick, and while she would make a great counter against Graveyard, Poison will still be the better option. I don't expect to see much usage of the Witch in the higher arenas, but she will still be one of the best troops in the lower arenas. The Witch is one of the strongest cards in arenas 1 to 6. Number 4, P.E.K.K.A. Deploy time to 1 second from 3 seconds. Explanation, we're aiming to make P.E.K.K.A. feel more usable and a bit more nimble to play, without breaking her identity as a big burly robot. This is a change that I've been asking for a very long time. This will allow P.E.K.K.A. to be better on defense. The 3-second deployment time was a big problem for the P.E.K.K.A. as a Hog Rider could easily get a couple of swings onto your arena tower before your P.E.K.K.A. even got 1 swing on the Hog Rider. This change will make her much better on defense, being able to kill giants, world giants, hog riders, golems, and so on quicker. However, the main problem with P.E.K.K.A. is that she's just too easy to distract, so she won't be a meta-defining card and probably won't see much usage in the higher arenas. The P.E.K.K.A. has a 4.5 tile sight, which means that she can be kited away by threats such as Ice Golem, making her change lanes. This is a very big problem, and I believe that an easy fix to this problem would be to just make her sight half a tile less, preventing kiters and making it harder to distract her. Next, the Dark Prince hit points increased by 5%. Explanation, he's been considered a lower tier card for some time, as his stats aren't quite there when compared to other 4 elixir options. More hit points should allow him to charge around the arena with a bit more success. The Dark Prince has been neglected for way too long. I like that Supercell is paying attention to this card. I like the 5% HP increase, which would allow him to get another swing against a lot of things. However, the main issue with the Dark Prince are threats such as Tombstone that practically shut him down from charging, and Skeleton Army. A charging Dark Prince is unable to take down the whole Skeleton Army with his 360 splash radius when he's charging. In my opinion, a charging Dark Prince should be able to kill the whole Skeleton Army with his 360 degree splash. This is one of the biggest problems holding back the Dark Prince, so making his 360 swing radius bigger makes a lot of sense to me. Next, Baby Dragon range to 3.5 tiles from 3. Explanation, Baby Dragon is a fun and iconic card that doesn't see a lot of play. A bit more range should make it more appealing. I don't really agree that half a tile range increase is gonna make the Baby Dragon more appealing. Maybe it's gonna make the Baby Dragon 1% more appealing, but I don't see this as much of a change. It will allow the Baby Dragon to lock onto things half a tile quicker, and that's really it. It won't help it do anything else better. Still, Baby Dragon is a pretty balanced card, but not a great card in the meta. One of my main concerns with Baby Dragon is that it's just too slow. It moves slow and it attacks slow, taking a while to kill a minion horde. I think a great change would be to allow it to attack quicker so it can two-shot minions faster. Next, Skeleton. Skeleton count to 4 from 3. Explanation, since Ice Bear joined the arena, the 1 elixir slot has become more competitive, so we're bringing back the 4th Skeleton. This change, aka 33% more calcium, will give Skeletons a lot more value as a distraction tool. The Dude returns. Okay, this is actually a significant change. Adding a 4th Skeleton means that 1 elixir Skeleton card can now do 33% more damage per second. And that's big. This means that the 4 elixir Skeletons can eat away at a Hog Rider or Giant much quicker. Not only that, 4 Skeletons will help so much in deterring Graveyard, especially on the ladder if your Skeletons are higher level than your opponent's Graveyard Skeletons. And most of the time, the level of the Skeletons from Graveyard are lower. And of course, no one wants to use a 2 elixir Zap spell on a 1 elixir Skeleton. These pesky Skeletons will be an excellent choice in many cycle decks. And lastly, the Skeleton Army. Skeleton count to 15 from 16. Explanation, a critical change to maintain the delicate balance of skeletal equilibrium within the arena. Obvious sarcasm. This change won't really make much of a difference when you consider that the Skeleton Army is a big group of skeletons, and many of the outlying skeletons can't even get a hit off their target. So yeah, not much of a change. So, I hope you guys liked my explanation and analysis of these balance changes, and also the new decks that I've been working on for the upcoming meta. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon. Later!